couple of you have asked, so I'm going to go ahead and dive into my entire amigurumi book collection today. Hello, my name is Sonnet and I like to talk about books and I like to talk about crochet, and in today's video we're going to be talking about crochet books, more specifically my entire amigurumi book collection. The amigurumi book tag is a tag from Chronically Crocheting, and in the tag they had posed a couple of questions about your entire amigurumi book collection. Most importantly, would you recommend the book? Have you crocheted anything from it? Those types of questions. If there is a book that you are interested in me doing a deep dive on, maybe you want to see me review the book, maybe you want to see me crochet a couple of things from the book, vlog style, whatever, please let me know down in the comments. I think that sounds so fun. But let's go ahead and dive right into it. And we're going to dive into it with some digital books. Now, I only have a couple of digital books, but I did want to include them in this video because they are a collection of patterns by a designer and they technically meet the book standard, right? They're just not physical. So the first digital book I have is Cute Crocheted Animals by Emma Varnam. I found this book online and I thought it was so cute. All of the little animals and their little clothes that you can mix and match and create a whole wardrobe from them, I thought was so cute. And I wanted to crochet animals with changeable outfits because my kiddo loves to change the clothing on all of her dolls and things like that. When I bought this book, I was aware that this book is in UK terms, and I thought, you know what, it's no big deal. I can flip that switch between UK and US terms pretty easily, but I have to be in the mood to do that. And since I purchased this book, I just haven't been. I think the book is really cute. I think the animals are really darling, but because I don't feel like doing the conversions from UK to US, I haven't picked it up, and hopefully in the future I will, but we'll see. My next and last digital book of amigurumi that I have is The Marvel Crochet by Sam Marshall. I bought this book right when the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was coming out because I wanted to crochet my own Doctor Strange amigurumi, and I found this and it was very inexpensive. It was a digital one. I thought it was so cute, this little book, and so I decided to pick it up. I have not crocheted anything from it. I actually haven't even looked inside of it because as time has gone on, I have come across some other Doctor Strange patterns that I feel I prefer. And so I might not dive into this book, maybe one day, because I think the little Groot is darling. But for right now, this one is definitely on the back burner. That's it for digital books. Now let's go ahead and dive into my physical book collection. I just started crocheting in 2021, so I actually don't have a big collection. Not a big collection to my standards, but according to my husband, I have plenty of amigurumi books, but I have 19 physical books. The first book I'm going to talk about today is Crochet Iconic Women by Carla Mitrani. This is a morphu on social media. I've talked about this book in my top 5 favorite crochet books. This is my #1 favorite crochet book. I love this book. I have made quite a few patterns from this book. Amelia Earhart, Billie Holiday, Jane Austen, RBG, and the Audrey Hepburn. My kiddo loves these dolls. I love to crochet them for her. I love these stories of these iconic women. I think it is so fantastic. I do want the second one, but I have to wait for holidays or for the new year. We'll see. But again, love this book. I feel a beginner could create some of these characters pretty easily. And definitely as you make more and more of them, you see how they're structured so similarly. And so it becomes easier to complete them. I also have Crochet Zodiac Dolls by Carla Mitrani. Now, this is a collection of all of the astrological signs, and I actually have not made anything from this book. I would recommend this book because I love Carla's patterns so much. I rant and rave about them. And so, yeah, I would definitely recommend this book to the same type of creator that wants to crochet these darling dolls. I think these would make fantastic gifts for somebody. You'll learn their zodiac sign. Then you can make, the little Scorpio and Libra. So cute. Love it. I do plan to get around to some of these, but I just have so much fun crocheting the iconic women that the Zodiac dolls are kind of on the back burner for now. Next up, we have Aquatic Amigurumi. This is a book by Natasha Tishchenko. I'm so sorry if I butchered that, but Nature Crochet on social media. This book is fantastic. fantastic. I got this one for Christmas last year, and I have made Valentine the pirate. I did make Sunny the anglerfish, and I am currently working on another pelican in the book. Now, in my top 5 amigurumi video, a couple of people have expressed how they like patterns that are not so simple, that are definitely a little bit more involved and unique looking, and I totally get it. And that's why I love this one. I think these patterns are so wonderful. They are colorful, they're unique, they're so stylized, and it's just, they are fantastic. The book is written so well, so I would highly recommend this amigurumi book to anyone that has been crocheting for a while and you don't like the simple look of amigurumi. If you want something that looks a lot different, if you want something that looks like you spent weeks working on it, I would say this book is more for intermediate amigurumi makers. There is a lot of things that you need to sew on, so if you don't like to sew, you might want to skip this one. But if you want something that is definitely more unique and complex and just fun, pick this one up for sure. The Pica Pow. Yes, I have the Animal Friends of Pica Pow. I have the Animal Friends of Pica Pow 2. And I also have the Animal Friends of Pica Pow 3. These are patterns by Shenkel or Pica Pow. And this was one of the very first books that I actually purchased, one of my physical books. My husband recommended I pass on this one because he thought they looked a little too complex. But I started off with Renee the Cayman here. And as a beginner crocheter, yes, I struggled here and there, but I was able to pick it up pretty easily. And I feel like some of these patterns would be okay for a beginner, but a lot of Yan's patterns I would say are more for an intermediate crocheter. Let's go ahead and get into all of the Pica Pow friends I have made. This book was also on my top 5 favorite amigurumi books. I love the Animal Friends of Pica Pow, all of them. Okay, so out of the first volume of the Pica Pow friends, I have made Murray the Sea Otter. I have made Pedro Vandito Pic. I have made Renee the Cayman and Hans the Grizzly Bear. This is definitely the volume that I have created the most out of. I really want to crochet Ramon the Donkey so bad, just need to get around to it. I love Pica Pow. Then we have volume number 2, and I have crocheted Philip the Lobster from this one. This was actually a gift from a Twitch subscriber, and they were so sweet to gift this one to me, and they requested that I make Philip the Lobster first, so that's what I did. I have the yarn for this little bee. I think this one is so cute. If I remember correctly, this little bee is an aspiring tattoo artist, and I think it is just so cute. Oh, I love it. And then we have volume number 3. And from this one, I have only made one as well. And that is Ron the Red Panda. Another subscriber from Twitch actually requested that I make Ron first. So that's what I did. I really want to make this little moth and that penguin. Come on. So cute. Definitely want to be making more of these in 2024. Maybe I'll make that a New Year's resolution to try and crochet a majority of the Pica Pow friends because they are so fun. Next up, we have 2 cute amigurumi. This is a super cute design on social media or Jennifer Santos, and I love this book. Oh my gosh, I am constantly making things from this book. They're just the most darling, adorable things you will ever see. I think the colors of these patterns are so cute and they just make me so happy. Highly recommend this book for anybody that really wants to make things that are just too stinking cute. I think the patterns are so well written. They are so easy to follow and I love them. I have made so many things from this book. I would say these projects can be completed by a beginner. There are a lot of them that are beginner friendly, and definitely as you get more intermediate, there's some good patterns. So if you are a beginner crocheter and you're starting to feel comfortable with your amigurumi making, definitely pick this one up. I didn't know if I was going to include this book in my collection, but I have made something from this book and it does have amigurumi patterns in it. And this is the Harry Potter Crochet Wizardry. There is a whole entire section of amigurumi patterns in this book. And so that's why I decided to included into this video. However, I have not crocheted any of the amigurumi. I have crocheted a couple of the house scarves, and I did make a sweater for my husband. And I think this blanket back here, oh, it's so beautiful. I have thoughts on this book. It's kind of hard sometimes to pull this one out. I would recommend this book if you absolutely have to have it because you are into Harry Potter and you like the amigurumi designs. Obviously, I know this is not one for everybody to pick up. If you are into crocheting and you maybe find this one somewhere for a good price, definitely pick it up. I think you might find some cute patterns in there. Oh, and I did forget to mention that this one has, I believe it's a collection of designers. So this one is not done by just one single designer. It's a bunch of them. So yeah. The next book I have is Crochet Donut Buddies by Rachel Zain. I love this book. I think this book is so fun. I have made a couple of them. Oh my gosh. When I saw that little Grogu donut, I had to get him. I would recommend this book if you are a beginner and you like to crochet donut cats. Definitely pick this one up. This is like a step up from the crocheting the donut cats. Then you crochet other characters. I have done the little elephant, I have done the cow, and a couple of the other ones. I think it is so fun. It says that they are easy patterns, which I agree. I feel some of them can get a little bit more intermediate just because there might be some things you have to sew on. But for the most part, if you are a beginner amigurumi maker, this one would be a great start. So there is one base pattern for the donut, one base pattern for the icing, and then you have all of the different elements that you add on to make all of the cute little critters and buddies and things. Next up, we have Unicorn, Dragons, and More Fantasy Amigurumi. Now, this is a collection of patterns from various designers, and I have only made one of these. I believe there's 3 of these books now, and I do want the other 2, but for now, I'm fine with this one. I did make the Griffin, and that's it. Carla, Mitrani does this little water nymph pattern that I want to do, and there's some other cute ones that I want to kind of get around to. I would recommend this book if you are into the, fantasy type of amigurumi and plushies. I think they are so cute. But one thing I want to mention with these ones that really kind of surprised me and surprised my sister. My sister crochets as well, and she also bought this book and said the same thing to me as well. But when I got this book, I thought that these amigurumi were going to turn out much smaller than they are. Now, I don't know if it was the specific pattern that I and my sister tried out, but when I bought this book, I thought that the patterns were going to be a little bit on the smaller end. And when I made my Griffin and my sister made this one here, they turned out to be much larger than we expected. We do like to use worsted weight cotton, so that has something to do with it, obviously. But just keep that in mind. If you're expecting something really on the smaller side, these ones tend to be a little bit bigger from what I see. There might be a couple patterns in here that run on the smaller side, but if you are into making the big plushies with lots of stitches, definitely pick this one up. It looks like some of these patterns might be pretty good for a beginner. This little phoenix here, I think, looks fairly simple, but a lot of these also do look a little bit more on the intermediate side. Some of them have a lot of sewing going on. There was a lot of sewing for the Griffin. This little mermaid, so darling, but that hair, it's gonna take you a while to do. So if you have the time, if you have the space for a bigger plushie, and if you want something a little bit more challenging because of all of the sewing that you gotta do, definitely pick this one up. The next one was a book that I was going to include in my top 5 amigurumi books, but I just had to make way for some of the other ones that I love. But it kind of hurt to take this one off of that list, and that is Amigurumi Treasures 2. This is a book by Erinna Lee, or Little Aqua Girl, on social media. If you're into amigurumi, you have probably seen some of her patterns, and I love this book. I have made quite a few of these little amigurumi friends. I did make Benedict the Shrew. He was the first one that I made from the book, and when I sold him, I felt like I was abandoning a friend. He went to a good home. The person who bought him just loved him, but I had a hard time parting with Benedict the Shrew. Now, much like the Aquatic amigurumi, if you are looking for amigurumi patterns that are definitely not so simple, definitely are more unique and so cute, and take a little bit more time, pick this one up. Like I said, I made Benedict the Shrew, and I also made Tolly the Goose here. So he turned out gigantic. The Benedict turned out on kind of a normal size for me. Again, I use worsted weight cotton, so my amis, I wouldn't say are small, but they're not giant plushies either. They're kind of in that mid-size, but he turned out pretty big. Again, I definitely recommend this book for more intermediate crocheters. If you have done quite a few amigurumi and you're ready to challenge yourself with something a little bit more, pick this one up. I do definitely want the first one. I actually don't have the first one in this set. And I believe that Little Aqua Girl just came out with a new amigurumi book as well. It either just came out or it's coming out real soon. And I can't wait to pick that one up too. Absolutely love this book. Next up we have Mini Kingdom by Aradaya Toys. I don't know if that's how you say it. That's how I've always said it. But you have probably seen her patterns on the internet. These are so cute. I have made quite a few of these patterns as well. I did make this little astronomer. I made a dog as a present, and I did make the little market girl that's in this one. She is so cute. Just look at these patterns. I 100% recommend this book. I feel like her patterns are so wonderfully iconic. When you see her patterns anywhere, you know it's Aradaya Toys, right? You know that is her patterns, kind of like the Pica Pow. When you see them, you know who that designer is. And I love that. I feel like this is a good book for someone who has, you know, dipped your toe into making amigurumi and you want to go to the next step. I don't feel like they are complete beginner patterns because of how the patterns are kind of structured. And there are a lot of little elements that go into these little people. And when I got this book, I don't know why I thought they were going to be like super tiny. They're like more like kind of, I don't know, little palm size, you know, I don't know, just good size little amigurumi. They are so cute. I love these ones. I can't wait to get more. I don't know if she has another book or if this is the only one. I don't know. I know there's a lot of patterns on the internet that I want to get from this designer, but yes, definitely recommend this book. I think they're so cute and so unique looking, and I love it. Next up, we have Kawaii Crochet by Melissa Bradley. This book was in my top 5 favorite amigurumi books, and that is because I have made so many patterns from this book. I'm sorry, I've created most of these patterns. I love this book. I feel like if you are a beginner crocheter, this is one you should pick up. When I do my crochet streams on Twitch and I have someone come into the chat and ask me about books that they recommend for beginners, this is the one I always recommend. This was the very first crochet book that I ever purchased when I started getting into crocheting amigurumi, and I love it. Again, I have made almost all of these. They are so quick to work up. They are so fun, and I love it. Some amigurumis can take me up to 3 weeks to make, and I don't want to always do that. Sometimes I want to sit down for a couple of hours, whip up a crochet project, and have something cute to say, look what I made today. And this is one of those books that I always turn to when I feel like I want to make something, I want to be productive and knock something out that day. Can't go wrong with this one. Also from Melissa Bradley, we have Kawaii Crochet Garden. This is the second book, and it's very similar to the Kawaii Crochet, only all of these patterns are super cute little plants. I have made this little tulip bulb, and I did make a little pot that was similar to that one. I want to make this little guy right here. I think he is so cute. Now this one I feel is a little bit different than the Kawaii Crochet as far as time. I feel like these patterns will take just a little bit longer to pump out, but again, they're not taking me weeks to make. They are relatively quick, but not as simple as the Kawaii Crochet ones. This one I would not necessarily recommend for a beginner crochet artist. I don't think you have to have a ton of amigurumi under your belt to maybe whip up one of these projects, but just know there is a little bit more that goes into them. The leaves, the pots, all of that stuff takes a little bit more time, takes a little bit more technique, and a little bit more understanding. So if you're ready to graduate up from the Kawaii crochet, this one would be great to start with. And much like the Kawaii crochet, this one is all organized based off of the color wheel, which is fantastic. Next up, we have Whimsical Stitches by Lauren Espy. This is the artist Menagerie of Stitches on social media, and I love this book. I have crocheted a couple from this one. I have done this little potted plant. I did this little pineapple. I made the turtles, which are so fun. I love Lauren's patterns, some of my all-time favorites, and I think that these are so fun. These are definitely crochet patterns where if you are a beginner, this is a good one to grab because there are simple patterns such as this apple and this jellyfish should be fairly simple to do, but then you can kind of graduate up to some that are a little bit more intermediate, like say this little coffee mug and things. Definitely recommend this one if you are a beginner and you want to get a book that has a bunch of things. You want the animals, you want the food, you want the cute little plants. If you want all those types of categories in one book, definitely get Whimsical Stitches. Can't rave enough about Lauren's patterns. They are so well written. They are so wonderfully structured and I love them. Next up, one of my all-time favorites, Crochet Cafe, also by Lauren Espy or Menagerie of Stitches. I love to crochet food. I love to crochet food. It's one of my all-time favorite things to make, and this is the Crochet Cafe. This book is so cute because it is actually set up like a menu. So you'll see like all the little menu information there, and then you have the patterns. Again, Lauren's patterns are structured so well. I love how they are written. I love how quickly something like this can work up, but yet you have something super adorable to say, look what I made today. And I love it. If I had one criticism about this book, it is whenever I'm making these, I have to eat whatever I'm making, right? So I crocheted this little chips and guac and I had to go eat chips and guac that day. I just had to. I couldn't not eat chips and guac. So, yeah, I love this book. I've talked about it before. I got this relatively early on in my crochet journey and I feel like I did pretty well with it. So if you are new to crochet and you've created a couple of amigurumi, you're feeling comfortable with your magic ring, you're feeling comfortable with your stuffing, you're feeling comfortable with your counting and your tension and all that good stuff, and you want to try something a little bit more challenging than say an octopus, definitely check out Crochet Cafe. You won't regret it. And as far as like aesthetics of how books are laid out, this is my all-time favorite. I love that it is a little menu. I think it is so cute and I could go on and on about this book. Next up, we have Crochet Magical Creatures by Drew Hill. Drewby Zoo on social media is so wonderful and so fantastic. And if you do not have this book and you are a beginner crocheter, I highly recommend this one. These patterns are more on the simple side. They are easy to make. You can whip them up super quickly. They're not going to take you weeks to make. And there's not a lot of sewing that goes on. There's a little bit, but not a lot. Definitely patterns for a beginner. I would say that these are relatively easy to make and everything is structured so similarly that once you make like say Davina the Dragon here and you want to move on to like say this one or the Pegacorn or whatever, you are familiar with how Drew has structured his amigurumi, and so it's easy to kind of go from there. Especially too, if you're into the more magical, mythical type of creatures, you don't necessarily want to crochet foods, you want to create a cute little orc, pick this one up. So good. I love it. I have crocheted quite a few. I have done Davina the Dragon. I did Gus the Mushroom. I also crocheted the Pegacorn for my kiddo. That is what she wanted for her birthday. And so made that one. And again, I love them. I absolutely love these. The next book I have is Creepy Crawly Crochet. This is by Meg Kreiner. And to be honest, I actually haven't crocheted anything from this one yet. I do want to crochet something out of this for the spooky season, but now that the spooky season is slowly coming to an end, I don't know if I'm going to have time, but I'm hoping I can get around to it. I received this book as a gift from a subscriber on Twitch, and I am so grateful because I think some of these little creepy crochet characters are so fun. Look at that little swamp thing. Oh my gosh. They look to be a little bit more, I would say, on the intermediate side. Again, I've never crocheted any of these, so I can't say for sure, but it looks like there is quite a few things to sew on. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend this book for a beginner, but if you are more of an intermediate crochet artist that wants to do spooky things, I mean, look at that spider. Maybe you don't want to crochet cute things. Maybe you want to just crochet creepy things. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. I mean, that little Cthulhu, who doesn't want to crochet Cthulhu? There's so many good Cthulhu patterns out there, but I think this one is so fun. Again, I recommend this one if you want to get into kind of creepy crochet. I think that is so fun. I can't say anything about the patterns. I don't know how they're written, but hopefully I can dive into this one soon. And then the last book that I have is the newest book in my collection, which is A Crochet World of Creepy Creatures and Cryptids. This is by Rikki Gustafson, founder of Crochet by Rikki. And I just got this book like a week ago as a gift, basically. So I was selling at my craft fair with a friend, and she informed me that she bought this book to learn how to crochet, but then she quickly realized that crochet is not her thing. So she gave it to me, which is exciting because I actually have a New Year's resolution this year to not buy any new crochet patterns, which includes books. So I'm still going strong. We're almost done with the year. So it's nice to actually get some new patterns in my collection. Haven't had a chance to dive into it yet, but I have had this one on my wish list for a long time. Can't say I've crocheted anything from Crocheted by Rikki either, so I don't know how the patterns are structured or how they are written. I feel like some of these look like they could definitely be beginner patterns. This little alien looks relatively simple here. I really want to make this little Mothman. He's probably the first one that I will create, and he looks like he's relatively simple. So again, just like the previous creepy crochet book that I had, I recommend this book if you want something that's not so cute but still darling. I mean, look at that little Nosferatu. I think he is so cute. And I mean, the Medusa, come on, too cute. So yeah, if you want something that is cute but creepy, you know, much like a lot of us are, definitely pick this one up. I love the idea of these patterns. I mean, you can only crochet so many bumblebees before you're like, okay, I've had enough. It's time to crochet Slender Man. But that's it. That's all for my amigurumi book collection. I'm curious, how many amigurumi books do you have in your collection? Thank you so much for joining me today. If you do want to see me do a deeper dive into any of these videos, please let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I love you so much. You are so fantastic, and I will see you all a little later. Bye.